Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 6, Myoclonic Seizures. This is another episode where we will be talking about a generalized seizure. In this case, right here, myoclonic seizures. We will go over them right now. So we'll start off with the index. So start off with the background information, then causes and symptoms, and then we'll move on to avoidance and answer, and we'll end it off with key takeaways. So okay, have you ever been drifting off to sleep and suddenly your leg kicks like it just suddenly fell off a cliff? That's actually a normal thing called a hypnic jerk. Now imagine that same sudden jolt, but it's not normal. It happens repeatedly, and it's coming straight from abnormal electrical activity in the brain. That is a myoclonic seizure. Myoclonic seizures are brief, shock-like muscle jerks that usually affect the arms, shoulders, or upper body. They're incredibly fast, sometimes lasting less than a second, and unlike tonic-clonic seizures, consciousness is fully preserved. Because they're so quick, people often mistake them for clumsiness, caffeine overload, or just being jumpy. But when they happen repeatedly or in clusters, they're a neurological red flag. So for causes, myoclonic seizures are most commonly associated with juvenile myoclonic epilepsy, or JME, which typically starts in adolescence. In this condition, the brain is extra sensitive to sudden electrical bursts, especially in the morning. They can be caused by metabolic imbalances, brain injury, infections, genetic conditions, or neurodegenerative diseases. In rare cases, medications or drug withdrawal can trigger them too. Triggers play a huge role here. So sleep deprivation is a public enemy number one. Pulling all-nighters doesn't just make you tired, but it can also trigger myoclonic seizures. So alcohol, stress, flashing lights, and early morning wake-ups are also common triggers. Basically, if your brain is exhausted or overstimulated, myoclonic seizures are way more likely to show up uninvited. Now for symptoms, what do myoclonic seizures actually look like? So picture a sudden arm jerk that causes someone to throw their phone across the room, or knock over a cup, or fling their toothbrush like it betrayed them. These jerks are involuntary and often symmetrical, meaning they affect both sides of the body at once. They can happen once or in rapid clusters, especially shortly after waking up. There's no warning, no buildup, just zap. And because awareness is intact, people often feel frustrated or embarrassed rather than confused. Many people say that it feels like being startled from inside. Here's the important part. While myoclonic seizures themselves are brief, they can be a warning sign. In some people, especially those with juvenile myoclonic epilepsy, myoclonic seizures can precede tonic-clonic seizures if left untreated. Now for avoidance and answer. Preventing myoclonic seizures is all about consistency. Anti-seizure medications like valproic acid or some other medications are commonly used and can be very, very effective. But if medication is just not taken, this would be an extremely common trigger for all seizures itself. But medication only works also if it's taken exactly as prescribed. Sleep is also non-negotiable. If you have myoclonic seizures, your brain needs regular quality sleep like phone needing quality charging. Alcohol should be limiting. Sorry. Yeah, so alcohol should be limited and avoided, and stress should be actively managed. Now, what should you do if you see someone having a myoclonic seizure? So most of the time, there's no emergency response needed. The seizure is over before you can even react. Just make sure they didn't get injured, especially if they dropped something or lost balance. If the jerks start happening in clusters or lead into a larger seizure, that's when that's when medical attention is important, and you should call emergency immediately. And if someone has repeated unexplained jerks, or and they should see a neurologist. Even if they seem minor, minor does not mean meaningless. And finally, key takeaway, I'll just summarize this for you guys. So myoclonic seizures may be short, but their impact can be big. They are very easy to brush off, but when recognized early, they're one of the most treatable seizure types out there. Sometimes the smallest glitches are the most important warning signs your brain gives you. Now, to detect these warning signs and to find out that you actually and to effectively treat this using the medication, you can use our medication manager in the seizure care app. And that would be the end of episode 6. And thank you, and have a nice day.